letting everything start up. I think we're going live. I think YouTube is live. Facebook is not live yet. Letting it take a moment here. It's taking a second to load up. Just sipping my coffee while we get started. All right. So, well, Facebook will load sooner or later. Perhaps it will, perhaps it won't. But at least we're live on the YouTube here. I don't know why Facebook is not starting yet. Let me give this one more try. See if we can get it to work. All right, guys, be patient with me here for a minute on the YouTube. So waiting on the Facebook. It's having a bit of a conundrum here. All right. Let me give it one more try here. All right. It's having a problem. But we'll get it sorted shortly. Maybe. It's trying. So sorry about the technical delay here. I actually had the Facebook set. I hit the button for it to go live first, and it still didn't go live. But we at least got some views and likes so far starting in the YouTube. Sorry about the technical difficulty here. It happens occasionally when I'm streaming. But it's more likely to be YouTube that has a problem starting up than Facebook. So that's fairly rare. Okay, looks like everything is finally good. We're live on everything. Again, sorry about the slight delay. But everything's good. So, hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, just sitting here drinking my morning coffee, getting some morning cardio in, riding my bike. I always laugh when I get a clown who comes in. They're like, when's the real cardio going to start? This is list cardio, and it's hard enough. But I also do higher intensity cardio. You guys see it pretty much every day. Speaking of which, I think I forgot to put it up yesterday. I literally forgot to put up yesterday's sled work. I have it. I need to put it up. I'll put it up, and then I'll put up today's sled work later too. I'll probably do some today also. So we are doing high intensity cardio as well. So again, anyone who's not grasping that, you're kind of missing it. Yeah, we do that also. All right. As far as kind of the title over here in the YouTube, fake natties, they're still dominating the industry, and we have to be aware of that. And I think the relevance is still when it comes down to the training information and other stuff that they're putting out. At the end of the day, like I was saying in the morning walk, there is just simply no evidence that all the stuff that they're promoting, and even the evidence-based people, is getting guys bigger. Because at the end of the day, none of these current, even natural pros, at the real shows with lots of testing, they're not any bigger. If anything, they don't even have as good a physique as the guys did in the 50s. Okay? None of these guys are any bigger than the athletes in any other sports. These calisthenics guys, are just as big and just as jacked. So all this extra work these guys are throwing in here and the things they're doing for bodybuilding isn't even making them any bigger, right? It's not even making them any bigger. It's not making them any bigger at all. It just isn't. So all these guys who are more athletic and CrossFitters and calisthenics guys are all more athletic than that. And when you look at anything being displayed, you see the guys who are, well, this is what I do, this special angle, and you're looking at all the exercises they demonstrate. That's not why they're big. They're big because they're on 3 grams of gear plus growth hormone. Have I seen Jeff Nippard's recent video where he defends obvious fake natties? No, I haven't. Marco, let me be clear. I don't watch YouTube fitness at all. I really don't. Occasionally I saw, the only stuff I've seen recently was looking at some of Jeff Tier's tiered videos, Jeff Nippard's different tiered videos for exercises, which was absurd. Essentially, the exercises that have built champions for decades, getting put near the bottom with silly goofball exercises at the top. I just can't. But that's the point. Everyone wants to defend all the fake natties still. And I mean, The reality is when you actually look at the bodybuilding shows that do tons and tons of testing, that still doesn't mean they're natty. It just means they're having to very limit what they use. And many of them are. But look at these shows that actually test everybody all the time. And look at the guys at national level natural bodybuilding shows. They're not that jacked. By our standards on the internet, they're not even jacked. They're just lean. I mean, realistically speaking, they're shredded, but they're not jacked. They really are Eric Helm size. Like that is the guys at the shows to where they're testing them all the time and they're tested over and over and over. The Eric Helm size guys are placing in national level natural bodybuilding shows. Like that really and truly is kind of your upper threshold for the average guy who's not a genetic freak. But, I mean, they're going to defend the fake natties because the whole industry is built around it. Right? The entire industry is built around it, unfortunately. But what do you do? Also, for those over here on Facebook, I'm streaming on YouTube at the same time, so there'll be multiple conversations going on here. I don't know, Margo. No, I haven't seen it. I'm probably not going to watch it because I don't want to start fights and start drama. I don't want to be a part of the YouTube drama stuff. So I don't want to go watch it and then get pissed at Jeff and start a fight. There's a point where it's like, let's just put out good information, promote health, promote well-rounded fitness, which is what I'm trying to do more and more and more. I'm trying to push people more towards better health, better health, better health. How do you make gains and be healthy and fit and athletic while natural, or using very low doses or TRT? It needs to be kind of where we stick with everything. And most of my clients are going to be natural at this point. Most of my clients are going to be natural, or they're going to be on TRT and still be in the normal range. Same thing for me. I'm in the normal testosterone range these days. And I pretty much plan on staying there. I have no reason not to. I don't need to be massive, so I don't care. And I feel like for me, could I eventually squat 500 again, even at a lighter weight? I think I could squat 500 at under 200 pounds, and I could probably do so at 50 years old and probably do so in the normal test range. I don't need to be doing more than that. And I think, again, let's talk about health and how much body weight we should carry and everything else that I've talked about a lot. All right. Guy my height doesn't need to be walking around over 200 pounds. I just don't. But do I have to be 200 pounds to bench 350 or to squat 500 or any of these things? Probably not. Probably not. I mean, the 500 might be a push, but we'll see. But I feel like, look, I did that 350 at 210. And I feel like I've got wiggle room to work with on muscle memory growth. And so, let's make it happen. I don't know. These fake natties, though, man. These fake natties. It's, again, the industry is built around it, unfortunately. And the problem is a lot of people don't even like it. I know so many people who are like, oh, I don't like this. I wish these guys looked more natural. Like you see women and stuff say that. Like I see that when you talk to other people, the average person doesn't like the extreme. Like if people were to just scale it back to reasonable, like the 50 standards and stuff, it would be more appealing to the mainstream. Sorry guys, I don't like how that is. Little piece of, I got to shave later. Clear all my psoriasis off. That's why I have to shave, guys. Sorry. I know people don't want to see that. Everyone's like, why do you shave your head? Why do you shave your face? That is literally why. I have psoriasis. So sorry about that. But, the thing is that that's the situation we're dealing with. The whole fake natty thing dominates the entire industry. And what are you going to do about it? But like I said, I don't want to start fights with anyone, Marco. All right? I don't want to start fights with anyone. Hold on, let me reply to my bro. So, but we'll see. Let's see if this stream picks up here. Do I need to kick it over to the community tab? It's getting views. Just Marco's the only one commenting. Mustafa sees my Facebook Live. He was going to jump into one of these, chat a bunch. All right. So let him know. I don't know. Man, it's a little slow this morning, but hopefully it'll pick up. People aren't always awake yet. We had a long one already, though. We did an hour, 15 minutes on the walk. So let's get in our zone. Of course, I kind of like to base these off the comments I'm getting. We're 11 minutes in. We've had one comment. Oh, well. All right. But no, Marco, I didn't see it. And like I said, man, I don't want to jump in and care about what a bunch of other YouTubers are really doing ultimately, because it doesn't affect me. I don't care anymore. It's just lots of garbage, gobbledygook, and useless information. I mean, when we're at a point where there's guys who are making all these tiered videos, and it's like, do we not know how to build lats? Do we not know how to build pecs? Do we not know how to build quads? Is this a real problem? Did we forget all this knowledge in the last 70 years? Because it seems like, again, guys in the 50s and 60s had no trouble figuring out how to build their quads or their pecs or their biceps or their lats. They didn't have any problems doing this until steroids existed. Until all the gear came on the scene, nobody had any problems figuring out how to build this stuff. And yet here we are where people need to tell you how they rank 12 different exercises for a muscle group. It's like, get in and train the muscle. Is this really this confusing? Even people with me like, man, your lats are huge. What'd you do? Pull-ups and rows, deadlifts. That's it. That's all you need. That will build huge lats. And even now, think about the amount of time I spent trying to do all these different extensions, trying to build my triceps up and lived on extensions. And we look back and everyone's like, I look back when I was younger, when my triceps and arms were the biggest, I lived on dips and some close grip benching. Same thing. We go back to that other picture. It's like your arms are way bigger, your triceps are way bigger. I was only doing dips and pressing. I was doing no isolation of any type. You go back to groups and you step away from all this and you go back and look at forums 15 years ago, dudes with big arms. You're like, what do you do for your triceps? You're like, dips and close grip bench. And they're literally writing this, and occasionally some press downs. Like all this stuff that we worry about with the isolating the long head and other stuff, has it really made anyone bigger? And I'm not saying we shouldn't ever care. I'm not saying to ignore these things. It's stuff I spend a lot of time discussing the biomechanics of. And yeah, we might be talking about functions of muscle, but does it really matter? Guys always got big doing these other things. Tons of guys built big triceps doing dips. Tons of guys built big pecs with barbell bench press, just performing them correctly. I mean, 5 movements is pushing it a little, Scott. Even me, I'm doing 6 movements right now. It's kind of my primary, but then I'm doing sled work. The sled work absolutely contributes. But I think that's the other thing we have to think about too. We talk about filling in gaps, but what about your GPP? Is that going to fill in gaps? What if you're doing sled work? What if you're doing jumps and throws and other things? What if you're doing weighted carries? Like all these other activities that we would think of. You're like, well, it's CrossFit. Well, CrossFitters often have great physiques. But, we could look at these things and say, Does that fill in gaps? Or even, I mean, we used to joke with the athletic aesthetics. Do we even need the other stuff? All the things that people were doing, I don't know that most people really needed anyways. Could they just be strong and athletic? Could they just get really strong at a variety of basic lifts? Barbell movements, bodyweight exercise. Sure, if you want to do some curls, do some curls. Not everyone needs to. Because that's what I've been saying all this time. I'm like, well, I did change my arms weren't as big, and I've been doing all these curls to bring them up. But everyone's like, your arms looked bigger when I did nothing but pull-ups and dips. Like, that blew my mind when I looked at that. And it's kind of like, wow. But I'm still going to keep doing curls because I feel like I need curls, right? All I need curls. But do we need all these things that we think we need? Hey, Carol, I appreciate you hitting the like on Facebook too, man. Good morning, Carol on Facebook. Good morning, Ryan on Facebook. How you guys doing? Cool. Appreciate the love in here. But I mean, Scott, there's a good point to that. Could we just do our basic movements, program them correctly with good volumes, good fatigue management? Everyone wants to do more than they really need. Simplicity and hard work. But I mean, and that's kind of a point I've been making lately. Couldn't we just be athletic? Can't we just do all of our big movements? And then if you have a weak link, work on it. Like for me, my biceps are a weak link. Yeah, I should probably do some curls. If your pecs are weak link, do some pecs. If your calves are weak link, do some calves. Coach, back to cardio, staying accountable, right? We're staying on top of the cardio. Hey, Michael, I'm also on Facebook if you want to hit me there. I know you follow. I appreciate it, man. We can swap moves, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I think we have this over-obsession with working every plane and angle. And I mean, quite frankly, and I've done plenty of videos on how to do it, But is it really matter at the end of the day? Is it really making anyone bigger to focus on all those things? Or could we just do our stuff and all just have good physiques, get lean from eating a good diet, doing cardio and conditioning, and just do more athletic stuff? So again, for me, I'm doing a lot of sled, but I'll eventually pick up some jogging. Stuff that we do. But yeah, there's Mustafa. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, Ryan got a long day going. I got to get client sheets done today too. How did the squat feel? It looked painful. What do you mean? Painful? Talk about the one from yesterday? No, it didn't look painful. Seems strange. Just might have just been my face. That's just how my face looks sometimes when I squat. No, it didn't. It wasn't painful. It was pretty heavy. Like it felt very close to a back. So it was real close. It was real close. Yeah. Bunch of positive comments on Facebook. No real questions there yet, but comments are welcome. I heard the groan. Oh, that's just how I sound when I lift, Scott. That's what happens when I don't have the sound muted. Exes of mine used to laugh when they heard me training. Sometimes they went to the gym with me. They'd be like, you make sex noises. Like when you laugh. It's hilarious. There's been more than one ex that's told me this. So, what do you do? Okay. That was a good lift. No, that's just how I sound when I lift, dudes. I usually have the sound off during the background because I'm talking and other stuff. But if I have it just, like that unmuted, just the noises I make when I lift heavy. So I don't hear it because I have my headphones in. I got music playing, so I don't even hear the sounds. Right? Yeah. man. So Mustafa finished my chest, bench and dips, 20 kilogram dips. I didn't know I could handle that weight. I hated them. Anything beyond 10 reps is exhausting unless it's louder. So Mustafa, so why not if you just feel the really high reps is exhausting, why not bring the reps down? Like you don't have to do 12s on any of this. You could do 8s, you could do 9s, 10s on all these big movements. Training is serious business for him, right, Ryan? Tell him, man. Tell him, brother. But yeah, Carol, I agree with that term, athletic, aesthetic, healthy. That's where we should be. Everyone is doing too much of this focus on just the bodybuilding side instead of stepping back and saying, why can't you have it all? Why can't you be athletic and healthy? Because again, let's come over. It's not like natural bodybuilders. True natural bodybuilders are more jacked than all these athletes, right? They're really not. They're really not. So Michael said, weird question. Do you recall low carb Corey over the YouTube? He did a crazy prolong. I have no idea. I know nothing about what low carb Corey is doing in the past 12 years or so. You were right about the high reps, but I remember years ago you were saying very big. I mean, you can get pretty. I'm not saying not to ever do 10s or more, Mustafa, but there does come a point where even me on a lot of stuff, I'm just like, unless it's a dumbbell curl or a reverse hyper, I'm kind of like 12 is about the upper threshold. And I don't think, and even then, that's a sign you need to add weight. If you're hitting 12 reps on stuff, it's time to add weight to the bar. Anything other than maybe a dumbbell exercise, right? But aesthetic on normal standards, Carol. I mean, social media standards to be aesthetic, you need trend and a little Photoshop. I mean, dudes, you guys, I mean, so much Photoshop and AI right now. It's out of control. Just like, the guy we saw yesterday wanted me, well, look, this Alex Eubank guy. I have no idea what Alex Eubank looks like because when I went to the Google images, everything was obviously heavily Photoshopped. I mean, like 50 pictures down the road, they're all Photoshopped. It's all lighting, all Photoshop. So you can't even tell what the guy looks like. That's why I've been stuck for so long. Yeah, because why are you trying to do reps that high? You don't need to do everything. Like you're saying, hey, you feel like your chest is lagging, but you're doing nothing but 10 plus reps on your bench and your dips. Well, maybe take them a hair lower. 7, some 8s. It's not a bad place to be. Same for me, dude. Like 8 rep sets of dips weighted dips to failure all the way down for 8s. My chest gets lit. Right? My chest gets lit personally doing that. Dips are great for both. Yeah, they really are. Federico, hey coach, I know Michael Hearn is suspicious about the specialism. What do you mean suspicious? I'm not sure if you're trolling me, Federico. Like Michael Hearn's training is great, but what do you mean suspicious? Like, are you entertaining any possibility at all that he's natural? I'm sorry, but I can't. I'm disappointed in you if you're even entertaining the possibility. Like, I hope you're kidding. I'm very disappointed in you if you think there's even a 1% chance he's natural. No offense. Every time when I add sleds and jumps or agility ladder, I feel like my body is more useful. Yeah, I mean, it is. Your body is going to be more useful. And don't those things carry over to your squat? I mean, my squat's doing decent right now. I haven't done all this cutting. I'm out just doing sled work and heavy singles on the squat. My legs pumped right back up as soon as I added the sled work. You can grow legit legs. right? Mustafa says felt them a lot, the dips. Yeah, you're going to feel properly done dip is going to hit your pecs and your triceps both amazingly well. Ryan says, I'm fat as F on camera, but in real life, I've gotten so many compliments lately. Well, yeah, dude, because you've lost like 80 pounds, man. People are going to notice that, right? They are going to notice that, absolutely. You know, your fat loss has been really good, right? Cheers, is it advisable to do a hyperextension on the Smith machine? What? I'm trying to even visualize what in the hell you're even trying to do. No, no, I don't have a lot of use for a Smith machine, but a hyperextension on one sounds really weird. I mean, if you're just needing to get a hip hinge like that, why don't you just do a high rep good morning? Again, why are we reinventing the wheel here? Why are you reinventing the wheel? Grab a barbell and do a high rep good morning if that's what you're trying to do. If you don't have a hyperextension bench, just grab a barbell, do a 20 rep good morning. Matt Opus does it. Well, I really don't care. You asked Jason Blaha, and I'm like, why are you doing this silly nonsense? What are you trying to get out of it? Rustam says, at least they don't hurt my elbows. What, dips? Yeah. No, dips perfectly fine on the elbows. Right? Again, dips are a great exercise. And again, moves your body through space. Build your chest, build your triceps, moves the body through space. What more do you want? Right? If you can do them safely, don't ego lift. As long as you're not ego lifting, the ego lifting is what gets people really hurt on the dips. Right? Do more dips, just use my chest line. Oh, yeah, quit. Like, and I'm not saying don't obsess over the bench Mustafa, but you don't need to be doing 15 sets of bench press a week and then going, man, my chest isn't growing. Well, you know, that's a lot. Are you progressing? You know, I mean, even if you wanted to bench 3 days a week, you could do 3 sets and be done with it. That's fine, man. Yeah, no, I mean, you could definitely do more dips in there, like you said. Sometimes I can feel if your shoulder tendons inflame. Yeah. Yeah, it's like I was saying, if you're doing 15 sets of bench press every week, your risk of overuse is going to go up significantly. Rufio says, hey, coach, sun's out, guns out. Yes, yes, indeed. Get more likes in here, guys. Why do we only have 3 likes on the YouTube here? This many people commenting, plenty of viewers with 3 likes. Come on, get that like button. Come on. I have more likes on my Facebook right now than my YouTube live. Drop my like for daddy. Appreciate it, man. 9 cents a bench and 9 cents a dips. Mustafa, that's a week. That's a lot. I'm not saying you can't do it. Just be aware that is a lot. You're pushing the envelope. Right? You're at the absolute limits in terms of really the upper threshold of where I would recommend. Tell them, Rufio, they need to hit that like button. All right, let's get those likes flowing. 18 cents, but you're bulking. Don't be bulking. Now, granted, Mustafa says bulking, but he doesn't mean lose his 6-pack. He has abs all the time. So what he's calling bulking is not what you guys are thinking. Like, coach, I'm going to bulk up to about 11%, bulk up to 12% body fat. They're not progressing in strength. It's all junk brain. I agree, Scott. I agree. Yep. Lifter says, hey, what's up, Lifter? Hey, guys, give me 1 minute. I'm going to come right back. I'm going to pee real quick, refill my coffee, be back. This way I can run the streams without turning them off. All right. All right, I'm back. We're back in action here. Fiber from oats. Mustafa got all this. That's a lot for me to read through, bro. Very grateful that you gave me advice. You're welcome, man. I don't care how basement bodybuilding looks. I mean, guys, I told you I don't watch YouTube fitness. I'm not really interested. I don't care. I just really don't care anymore. All right. We're just going to continue to promote health, fitness, lifting, being strong, being jacked, doing cardio, doing all this stuff. I'm just going to promote more and more of health and fitness oriented and away from all the elite stuff, the crazy stuff. I'm going to keep getting leaner, keep doing my cardio, keep doing my sled work, my heavy lifting, and I'm going to promote longevity and fitness and eating a clean, healthy diet and being sober and just everyone being strong, jack, and athletic. How's that? And I really just don't care what any of these guys are doing. All right. You know, I don't really care. Like, he's not even a big enough name for us to even care about in this game. You know, is he going to promote more athletic and healthy stuff, or is he going to promote being too high of body fat, too many machines? I mean, a lot of his training seems good overall, but still. But quite frankly, I just don't care. Like, everyone always wants me to talk about other YouTubers, but man, I'm getting to the point where Jason, can you do a little bit more cardio? I mean, I'm doing a lot. I'm going to do more than 2 hours today. We're almost at 2 hours already. I mean, just being realistic here. We are almost at 2 hours now, but I'm going to do a lot more. I haven't even seen what he's doing these days. Again, it's just not relevant. I just don't care. Right? Are they strong, jack, lean, good blood work? Can they squat 500 pounds? They have good conditioning. You know, that's what we need to care about. Jason, do you think modern bodybuilding and fitness is a mess and decline when it comes to aesthetics because people always want more and are never satisfied? I think that's a big part of it. Right? Right? That's a big part of it. They always want more instead of going, we've gone backwards because they just want bigger. They want more. Dude, the guys in the 50s and 60s looked phenomenal. Like, that should be what people think of as a peak aesthetic. Like, I'm not even talking about my nostalgia. I'm not talking about when I started. I'm not even talking about, the 80s or whatever. Guys, I'm talking about the guys before I was born. They already reached peak aesthetic physiques. Scott says your style of training is healthier. Hopefully so. So Jason, about to hit back and arms there. All right, cool, man. Make sure there's pull-ups in there. Frederico, Coach, do you believe jogging ruins our gains? No. I see so many people running, walking, The problem, with jogging can be body weight for people, Not knowing how to run, it can be a gait problem for some people, but generally, no, I don't think jogging hurts your gains. Why would it? Who would be your favorite female fitness physique? How about I just don't answer that, So, all right. What we got going on here? I always miss those lives. Why don't you do Facebook lives when walking? Mustafa, because no one's in them. So the problem is the Facebook lives in the morning, there's no one in there. So on the YouTube, I have a regular crew of 4 or 5 people who will be in there giving me nonstop questions and comments. It gives me people to talk to. If Facebook, I can do a 2-hour walk in the morning on Facebook if the sun isn't up. There might be one person. All right. But as the page grows, that will change, right? as the page gets the algo back up and it continues to grow, there'll be 20 people in there eventually, and then I can do more of that. All right. What's up, Coach? Early morning cardio. Oh, this ain't the early. I was at 4 a.m. I started at 4:15 on my first walk. Like, this is my second cardio session. We've already had a shower. I've got some work done. You know, we've been doing all sorts of stuff between there. Yeah, Mustafa, I can't do the whole walk based on just one person now, you know. But eventually, as the Facebook picks up here, I'll do some of them here. But for now, the YouTube is actually giving some engagement. You're Madman Coach Florian. It's early for me. Hey, Otis, this is a sober channel. I am sober. If you're going to promote alcohol, I will ban the holy hell out of you without hesitation. It has no place on my channel. It has no place in my life. Just letting you know. Alcohol has no place in fitness at all. Period. Full stop. I have been, my 6 years of being sober was February the 18th of this year. It was my 6-year anniversary since my last drink. I may be clear, alcohol is a poison. It poisons the body, it poisons the mind, and it poisons the soul. That's my position on alcohol. Gustavo says, Jason, I plan on starting my personal training group by coaching for free. There you go, man. I mean, that really is how you learn, right? Coach Fake Natties all still dominate because a few people who want to be in the fitness industry are going to be patient for a great natural physique. The problem is most people who follow the fitness industry will never see a natural physique and think they have a great physique. Do powerlifters, hey Rufio, powerlifters are different people. So it really depends on the person. Right? Keep in mind, powerlifting not being a team sport, most people who are doing powerlifting meets who travel for them just go home. Now, some of the local groups may, all the judges and some of the top lifters were celebrating when I did one meet, right? After weigh-ins and everything, and they all celebrated and stuff. But generally, no, it's not like it's a big team thing. You know what I mean? So a lot of people are showing up at them, or a couple people in a small group, or they're showing up by themselves, or showing up with their wife and kids, or their husband and kids. They do the powerlifting meet and they go home. Right? At least here, you see a lot of that. Like it's very family oriented, actually. Can't believe it's been 9 years. Yeah. Ryan says, I had a hiccup a few months ago drinking, but I'm completely sober again and no interest in drinking ever again. Awesome, Ryan. Glad to hear it, man. Alcohol's a big part of my life and my country thing. I've always preferred barbell and heavy metal. There you go, Carol. Well, Carol, we're Slavic. We know that's how it is, dude. I mean, my dad's family full of alcoholics, honestly. Got to be honest about it. Carol, it's a stain on most societies, unfortunately. It really is, you know. And I'm definitely about that sober life at this point. I literally do not want it in my life in any capacity, you know. Like even my behavior when I drink, like all the stuff that caused me the most problems on YouTube was during periods of time when I was drinking heavy. So I have literally had to have blowback for the rest of my life. Things that I did, stupid stuff, even with my YouTube while I was under the influence of alcohol and stuff, is pretty much going to haunt me the rest of my life. You know? And I never hurt anybody or anything while drinking, but I mean, perfect example. Perfect example. You know? And pretty much will never go away. It will be there until the day I die. And that's setting aside all the health negatives. I mean, the health negatives are horrific. I mean, and the data supports that. Look at the cancer data. And that's where I get frustrated when people start promoting alcohol in moderation, or even fitness people. It's like, did you guys skip all the cancer data? They're saying, well, your liver can handle it in moderation. Sure, your liver can handle it in moderation. But what about the cancer? What about the stomach cancer, the colon cancer, the esophagus cancer? All that stuff, one drink a month increases it. That's what the top researchers are saying. And 4 people say, well, who sponsored the studies? Yes, because, guys, I'm sure the global elite wants you to be sober. People, think of the stupidity. Yeah, big pharma and some shadow government wants you to be sober. They're trying to convince you to stop drinking alcohol for nefarious purposes. You can't even spin a conspiracy theory to all this sort of research. Big pharma, they put out all that global information because they want you to be sober. It's a conspiracy. Come on, guys. You have no conspiracy. This is the leading cancer researchers around the world who compiled data and came back and said, hey, guys, it looks like drinking even in moderation causes cancer. So essentially, in short, if you look at the data, if you drink alcohol, you want cancer in your butt. You're basically saying you want butt cancer. I want some cancer in my butt. So I drink in moderation. Not enough to hurt the liver, just enough to get cancer in my butt. And we can joke about that, but butt cancer is no laughing matter. It might sound funny, but it's really not. It's pretty horrific, actually. It might sound funny, but it really isn't. Really isn't actually that funny. Pretty terrible. If you guys have ever seen the effects. Or stomach cancer. Man. Dude, that's rough. You talk about how cancer you really don't. I'm not saying any cancer is good. Some are worse than others. You start talking, the really scary ones are going to be bone cancer, stomach cancer. Stomach cancer, that's a rough one. Look, that sucks. Because there's tiers of how horrific they are when going through treatment. Yeah, can't go to the toilet. Can't hold down food. Dude, people with the stomach cancer, it's like they eat the wrong food and they puke blood up while they're going through the treatment. Damn, I ate something that irritated my stomach with the stomach cancer, and they're vomiting blood and then crapping blood out. Man. I believe alcohol is something about the past. Most Gen Z don't drink, and millennials must have stopped. Hopefully they do, man. You can't go to the toilet. I only want cancer a bit. I have a 6-pack of beer once a month for years now. Even that's going to cause some risk, Luke. So for many years, naturally big, strong guys drinking, then it turns into zombies. Many died. Yeah, man. It's terrible. Just a little bit heavy for you is capped at 205. Mustafa, I need to go check. I don't remember all those weight classes because I'm used to the other weight classes, not the kilo-based ones, because all the feds I do like the 90 kilo, the 100. So a lot of those change it over to Olympic. So if you're but for guys who can pass a drug test, you're going to use those weight classes for sports. But if you're going to compete untested, it's going to be 90 kilo, 100 kilo, so on. So it's going to be 198 pounds. It's going to be 220. Right? Yeah. No, Carol, it really is, dude. It's bad. So yeah, I'm going to promote sobriety. I continue to promote sobriety. I really and truly believe, and I say this with absolute sincerity when I write about this stuff on Facebook or when I make those posts. Like, alcohol really and truly has no place in a healthier fitness lifestyle. It has none. It is truly an evil scourge upon humanity. And I say that to even the fitness influencers who promote, well, we can drink in moderation. Dude, you guys need to get over you guys have an addiction. And I don't care that they have a PhD. The data is overwhelming here. There is no way to drink in moderation and still have no health risk from it. So these same people will stand here, oh, you shouldn't use steroids. Well, why not use steroids in moderation? I mean, realistically, the data shows if we go only off data-driven answers, steroids in moderation are less likely to kill you than alcohol in moderation. That's the data. So if these same guys are going to stand here and tell you you can drink in moderation and be healthy, they need to say, well, just use steroids in moderation. Hey, if you had to pick one, which one's going to give you a better physique and performance? But I mean, setting that aside, that's the type of hypocrisy. The same thing, someone got mad at me for saying, you can't say that these guys are fake natties because they smoke weed and drink alcohol. Like, yes, I can. Because if your reason as a bodybuilder, oh, I stay natural because of the health risks of steroids, but you drink alcohol, fuck you. You're a lying piece of shit. Sorry, apologize and try not to cuss in these streams, because I'm on Facebook. But I mean, really, you talk about a lying piece of crap. To stand there for someone to drink on camera and then to straight up tell you they don't use steroids, that they're a natural because it has health risks. Straight up, dude, for a fact they're a fake natty. Hands down, 100% chance. Zero doubt in my mind. There's no possibility they're natural. Because objectively speaking, one of these is way more dangerous than the other. So I'm not buying it. Ryan says, my great grandmother was a bad drunk and mean as hell when she drank. I don't ever want to be around it. I don't like being around drunk people either. Gustavo says, I feel like I would feel small at 185 unless I lose muscle. I don't know, man. I think I'd be peeled at 185. Can you imagine me stripping all the way down to 185 right now? See, but Luke, at least you're admitting there's a risk, man. I mean, you're drinking in very small moderation, which I can respect that, but there's still a risk. And if, you're admitting there's a risk, then we're good. You're accepting that risk. I'm never going to promote anybody drink even in moderation, but I see where you're coming from. But you could also break that tradition in your circle of friends. I hang out with my bros that they're drinking. I drink a Diet Coke, Coke Zero. They're drinking whiskey. I'm having Coke Zero, Review of fake natties will always dominate the industry as there will never be a shortage of naive teenagers. Yeah, true. But ironically, how many people do you really see? I really wish they looked more natural. And I know, especially women, they don't really like the heavily enhanced look, even if they like fit dudes, by and large. Gustavo said, we peeled my performance would be bad. We're talking combat sports. Okay. You didn't say which sport, Mustafa. You just said weight class. I didn't know if you were talking powerlifting or what. You weren't specific. Yeah, if you get too lean, I agree. It can be definitely problematic. Definitely for some combat sports. Luke says, totally for me. I enjoy it, so we'll keep doing it. Is it smart and hypocritical that I don't use juice for health reasons? Yeah. Advocate for my life choices. Yeah, very fair enough. But Luke, you're also not up here on a camera putting out information. And I think this is my problem. When you have someone who their career would be heavily enhanced by being chemically enhanced, and they're standing up as an influencer or whatever, and they stand there while drinking, tell you And I had someone, I'm bringing that up because I had a video from like 8 or 9 years ago where someone came in and got mad at me for saying that about whatever Kane Sumabate or whatever his goofball name is. I paint vaginas. That guy, fake natty as hell, right? Up here smoking weed and drinking alcohol with Nippert and everybody, and they're doing their thing. And it's like these dudes over here talking about they don't use gear because of the health risks while they're getting drunk and high. You know, see what I'm saying here, guys? So you don't use the drugs that would make you money and enhance your career because you're scared of the health risk, but you're going to stand here and use drugs that will harm your health to get a buzz that will actually potentially hurt your goals, but you won't use the drugs that will make you more money and get you goals because of the health risks. Like, you do realize that anyone with 2 brain cells rubbed together knows you're lying, right? We know you're lying at this point. Because having 4 or 5 drinks and then smoking a bunch of weed, I'm talking about eating an edible, smoking it with your lungs, and then drinking alcohol, you really think that's safer than pinning 200-300 milligrams of test a week? I don't think so. Like, again, clownery. No, guys. Just at that point, just admit you use a little juice, guys. Just get on with it. Because you don't care about your health. Because dudes who care about their health don't stand there and drink whiskey and have multiple drinks while they smoke anything. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's garlic or banana peels. You're still inhaling smoke. Notice that it has nothing to do with it being cannabis. I don't think edibles are that big of a risk, to be fair. I think they're relatively safe. All things considered, if people wanted the safest buzz possible, I think that's probably your smart choice. If you absolutely feel that you must have something mind-altering, not that I think you need it, let's be realistic here. What's probably the least harmful? I don't know, edible cannabinoids. Probably the least harmful buzz I can possibly think of in the grand scheme of things. You know, now I choose not to partake in general. Yeah, I mean, if we're going to talk about lowest health risk, I think that's going to be your option. So if a person says they absolutely must have some sort of mind-altering experience to get a buzz or whatever in a social setting or to relax or whatever it is they need it for, that would be the least negative to your health. Anything that I can possibly think of. Definitely not smoking it. And it's 100% not alcohol. You know? Man, I'm getting all lively in this one. We're getting all lively. Mustafa says mixed martial arts. Yeah, you got to be careful being too lean, Mustafa, for your MMA. Carol says, today in my town in Polo Strongman Championship, they got guys pretty impressive and big, but walking 150 plus kilos is no, it's definitely not healthy. Rodrigo says, alcohol destroyed my life and weed my physique. I believe drugs are copes, not being responsible of our thoughts. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've done some pretty stupid stuff under the influence of alcohol. You guys have seen some of it firsthand. I'm not going to go through and mention specific various videos, but some of my worst takes were under the influence of alcohol. And guess what? They're on the internet forever. Forever. It's the fact you've done a lot of alcohol and steroids a big motivator. Who said I did a lot of steroids? Rupia. Let me ask you a question. Why am I still healthy at 48? You don't see a conflict with that line? What makes you think I ever did a lot of steroids? Just saying. I'm still healthy at 48. Are you sure? All right. What's the worst part? Most people who obsessively criticize your mistakes probably made equal or worse mistakes under the influence or more contained. Right. They didn't have a camera rolling. You know, but I did my best to take all those down and to just do better. You know, it's all we can do, really. But I mean, it's always going to be there. Again, guess what? That's even another motivation for me to stay sober. What is it I've said? My behavior when I drink is unacceptable. It's a line I've said many times. My behavior when I drink is unacceptable and embarrassing across the board. You know, so those takes are also good motivation for me to stay sober. I'm like, man, look how stupid I get after 2 or 3 drinks, or 4 or 5. Dude, I've been on camera after having like 8 or 9 drinks before, by the way. Years ago, a long time ago, obviously. So, you know, those takes are going to be there for the rest of my life. And unfortunately, they're always going to be, it's going to be seen differently instead of being used as an example of, hey guys, this is a good reason not to drink. There's cameras rolling everywhere. We're all on the internet now. Anything you do or say under the influence of alcohol, it's like it's never going to be spun that way. Unfortunately, it could be used for something positive, but the people who see it and view it, they're never going to accept or realize that was a lot of that was definitely a factor. But for me personally, that can still be further motivation for me to step back and say, okay, let's set aside the health, the cancer, the liver, the recovery issues. Let's look at the consequences. That alone is enough for me to go, yeah, I need to never drink again. I have a camera rolling way too much for me to ever be under the influence of alcohol ever again. You know, way too much. Yeah. Mustafa says 160. Well, yeah, 160 for an average height guy is pretty low. But, you know, you also weren't maybe not as carrying as much muscle, and you might not have the same body composition. You know, just keep that in mind there, Mustafa. Well, muscle definitely helps. But the thing to keep in mind, you know, with boxing and fighting, you're fighting against other guys in your weight class. So it's like, you're like, yeah, I got stronger by gaining 20 pounds and bigger, but so did your opponents. So just, it's always your context for combat sports. I'm not saying you're wrong, though, or that you shouldn't be at an appropriate weight for your height. Yeah, you were just skinny back then. Yeah, it makes sense. You know. You know, it's just like guys I see in powerlifting. They're like, I want to move up a weight class to get stronger. And it's like, are you trying to be competitive? Because I'm like, you're going to gain fat and get stronger, but you're going to be competing against guys in the next weight class. And they're not, so then they're looking at competition instead of, you know, their own goals of then going, yeah, but if you're trying to be competitive, I'm like, you're not strong enough to be in that weight class. You have to tell that to guys. The stuff you have to think about in weight class sports, right? You're now competing against bigger and stronger guys when you get bigger and stronger, change classes. You know, always has to be factored in. Any weight class sport, whether it's powerlifting, fighting, anything else. You know what, guys? I think I'll run this longer, but to do so, I got to take a quick break. I'll be back in 1 minute, and I'll just keep running this stream. All right, and we are back. Rufio says, what year did you get your award? So I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what year did you remember seeing the check mark appear? I could narrow it down to maybe a 3-year span. Somewhere between 2015 and 2017. Do I have to cut out? You shouldn't be eating refined sugar, John. Notice I don't care about the word sugar. No, you can eat tons of sugar. You shouldn't be eating refined sugar. You need to be avoiding refined fructose in general, table sugar, high fructose corn syrup, stuff like that. Cane sugar, which is the same thing as table sugar chemically. Yeah, fruit's fine. It's fine, John. Like, who told you not to eat fruit? You're new to my channel. You are clearly new to my channel. I've done extremely detailed videos on fructose metabolism in vast detail of why fructose in fruit is okay and why our body digests it and absorbs it differently. There's nothing to do with it being natural either. We could synthetically create the same effect if we really wanted to. But, again, you're very new to my channel if you're worried about fruit. But I mean, so what does the research say on refined sugar? What the last meta-analysis last month looking at processed meats and refined sugar show that even in small amounts, there's still some minor health risks. Yeah, I'm glad you added that note. It's crazy how people equate natural to healthy and vice versa. That is a logical fallacy in philosophy called appeal to nature. Yeah, they often correlate, true. But yeah, that's called appeal to nature. Do my cardio later tonight. Keep on your cardio, Mustafa. Get your steps in. Get your stuff done. And I agree, it often correlates, but it's not necessarily because it's natural. I mean, Mother Nature wants you dead at 35. So what people need to be looking at is what's healthy, not what's natural. And a lot of times they will overlap, of course, for a lot of reasons. What should I do pre-contest for boxing? You're asking me detailed coaching level questions in a live stream, John. Yeah, dude, you're getting into needing specific detailed coaching. So if you need to come to, I'm going to say this very politely to you, John, as non-offensively as possible. If you're at a point where you need to ask people details for your fight in a live stream on YouTube, you're not ready to compete. You need a coach. You need a coach to help you at that point. You need to hire someone because you shouldn't be asking stuff like that, randomly in a stream, dude. You need to hire someone to coach you for that then. Because how can a person advise you on stuff without knowing you're highly detailed? Yeah, but John, I don't know. I don't know anything about you as a person. I don't know anything about your training history, what you're doing. So how can I possibly give you advice? For someone to give you advice, they would need to work with you for hours to have any advice to give you, So again, giving you this, but again, fair enough. This is probably why you trust me because I'll be honest and tell you that. John, there's no way in a live stream you're going to be able to give me. I would need to give you 5 hours of live stream and put you in front of the camera talking to answer your question. We would have to have a long video conference with highly detailed information for me to give you any advice going into some sort of competition like that, right? A few 20 text lines in a live stream, not going to get it done. So, that's not how it works, unfortunately. I think at this point you may want to get a boxing coach to prep you specifically. Exactly. So what's he doing now? Exactly. We don't have highly detailed. I think you need to go ahead and get you a boxing coach to prep you for the event. You know, and that's not my specialty, honestly. What do you think about training each head of each shoulder on different days? What, Mustafa? I think that's getting a little excessive and unproductive at that point. If we're going to literally break down individual heads of shoulders to different days, yeah, man. No. I would look at that and go, we're getting to the point of complete uselessness in our training organization. Right. All right. My coach is former pro. I just want your 2 cents. I'm not going to second guess your coach. I don't know enough about you. Honestly, he's got a boxing coach. As much as I would love to take his $100, John, I would love to take your $100 in a consultation. I feel like with you already having a boxing coach who knows all your history, and I don't, I feel like it would be stealing your money if I didn't. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to agree with Luke. You have a coach who is literally working with you and knows what you're doing. His 2 cents are worth more than mine in this context, in this case. I mean, like Scott said, I mean, I'd be happy to do a $100 consultation with you. I mean, I do them. I have slots open later today. I'd be happy to do one. But realistically, it's not in your best interest for another person to come and second guess the coach who's working with you directly. But I'll be more than happy to do one. I mean, we could just BS and, shoot the shit. Take care of Mustafa. So let's kind of chill out the Facebook a bit. Yeah, his 2 cents are going to be worth more than mine in that context. We're just going to be honest and realistic here. Right? We didn't get any supers in here today. Oh well, it happens. I don't know how much longer I'm going to run this one. I do need breaks between these. John, can you make a 2-day-a-week lifting routine on a consultation for me on off days of boxing? Yes, I absolutely can do that, John. I do tons of those. I literally do training programs and write them out for people in the consultation. So if you want to set up a consultation to write out a program, I'll be happy to do that for your lifting. That's a normal part of what I do in this calls all the time. So yeah, hit me up on Facebook if you want one, because that I can actually help you with. But your final prep for your boxing, when you have a coach already, no. But if you just need programming, we can do programming. That would not be a waste of your money. In spite of being in the AC with the fan, I'm actually sweating now. Oh, doing pretty good here. Right. Probably not going to run this more than about 5 more minutes unless we get some lively stuff going in here. I'll get some other work done. I'll do another cardio later today anyway. It's only 8 o'clock. You only need a small amount of weight training while boxing. I mean, he needs some. 2 days is good, 2 to 3 days. He does want to get bigger and stronger. But walking into a match, he's got to watch recovery on training going into an actual boxing match. Right? Fatigue management from the lifting becomes critical. It has to be secondary. I box 5 days a week. I also have a fitness. Okay, cool. Most fighters just run an upper lower split for weights. Yeah, that's pretty reasonable. or full bodies, but upper lowers definitely work too. They work really well in a context like that. Right? So yeah, John, I'd be happy to help you with that. So hit me up on Facebook then, dude. If you don't have the link, let me get you the link. Right? What's it doing here? It's underneath every video, though, honestly. There you go. All right. We got a lot of coffee in during this too. Probably making me sweat more. All that caffeine. All right, do we have anything else going on in here? So we've hit 2.5 hours already between the walk-in and here. So it might be about time to wind this down. All right, so I think I'm going to end the Facebook. And yeah, I think we'll wind the YouTube down now also. So I love you guys. I will do another one of these later today, so I'll talk to you next time.